Hello and welcome to the Martial Arts Teaching Tactics Podcast. I'm Chris Bean, and I'm joined by Chris Kent. Hello, Mr. Kent.
Hello, sir.
Today, we're going to be discussing events that you have at your school, events that you could have at your school, and really events that we have at our school, how we interact with them, how we set them up, some different tactics that we may use to perhaps advertise or to talk about, promote those. But really, the takeaway from today, I think, would be just the different ideas of events that you could potentially be doing at your school. Also, on top of that, if we missed an event, if our list doesn't include something that you think is like a foundational event to you and your school, let us know. Reach out to us, and I'd be interested to hear what event we missed out on. So having events for your school are beneficial for obviously a couple different ways. Number one, they're beneficial because those events are community time for you and your students. You get to interact with them. They get to interact with each other. And they're not necessarily in a classroom type setting where they're focused on or worried about learning a new move, but they're just sort of hanging out, having fun, whether that's at a Christmas party or at a buddy bash or something like that. They're just there to be around each other and to spend time with each other. It's a full-on community event. Now, the list of events that I'm going to go through could be paid, meaning your clients pay for that event. Could also be free events. Some of them, as I'm going to go through, are what I would consider our free events, meaning we don't charge our clients for them. Some of them we do charge for them. And this is a rough outline of how we do it. Sometimes, maybe it's a 2-hour event. Maybe you wanted to do an hour event. Okay, fine. You get to pick and choose. Obviously, do with what you want with that. What we do is what we do. It's worked for us. And now, maybe this will tell you where we're at. We're on the backside of COVID. So for the past, during COVID time, we haven't done a lot of events. So now we're starting to get back into those, which is great because I feel like that community aspect where the students get to interact with each other, we get to see them interact with them kind of outside of a classroom setting now is hugely beneficial. And now that we're finally on the backside of COVID, and hopefully it stays that way, fingers crossed, but now that we're there, we get to go back to doing these events and have that community time with our students. Now, as you are talking about and thinking about these events, an idea that you can do is to have an event every month. And these could be stapled events, meaning every October you do this event. Every January you do this event. But you can have a list of events, you pick and choose and divide them up. Maybe you do 2 events a year, maybe you don't do 12 events. Maybe that's too much for you. Okay, fine. But have some sort of reoccurring, I would say at least 2 times per year. 2 times per year would be great because then, again, that gets your students to interact with each other. It kind of makes them, allows them to see that it's more than just their class, right? It's oh man, I didn't know you do karate here too. Yeah, wow. They get to interact with those people they don't normally see on an everyday basis because they're not in their class with them. So events are huge. On top of that, of course, there's a monetary benefit to it. You have an event, you can pay your staff X amount of dollars. You have 30 people sign up, and maybe they pay $25. Okay, you can imagine you can help to maybe pay the bills that month. However you want to interact with that, but it's not all just about making the money. It's about the students and having them interact with each other and having that time to really interact with them outside of a classroom setting.
Not only for the small little paycheck you can take away from that, having them pay for the event, or even if it's not paid. Again, I think a deeper meaning or deeper reason to having those events, like Mr. Bean said, is to deepen your community and deepen the culture of your studio. So people will come in and see people they don't normally see on their night or in their class. They realize that the studio is bigger than just them, or bigger than just the 20 people that they normally see twice a week or whenever it is. Not only to deepen that connection between the students, but that's an extra X amount of time that you have with the students in kind of a different environment, because some of these events might be a lot more laid back than your class time is. In class, we have things to get done. There's structure, and there's the martial, quote unquote, law of the martial arts in those class times. And now here's your event where you get to, hang out and have fun for an hour or so. Of course, there is structure and is order to keep things running smoothly and to keep everyone safe. But outside of class is an extra time for you as instructor to connect with those students as well, or for your staff to connect with each other, or for your staff to connect with the parents. And it's just a huge community boost having different events here and there that are going to not only benefit you in some monetary ways if you choose to charge for it, but also it's going to boost and strengthen the community and the connection of your students and your staff within your school.
And so what we'll do is I'm going to go through each of the events that we do, or at least the majority of the events we do, and then we'll give a brief explanation of how that event kind of runs, different things that we do, and then we'll move on to the next one. And what I'll do is I'll put into the episode description a list of those events, kind of without the description, but just as a list of the events that you can kind of use that as a guideline to what we're talking about. But board breaking seminar. That would be one of them. And we do board breaking seminar one time per year. And I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but we close for Christmas break, Christmas and New Year's. The last Friday that we're open, we do board breaking seminar. It's a staple. Every year we do that. And at this event, we have the students come in and they're divided up into their classes. So beginners and then intermediate and advanced and then black belts, each have their own class. They do 2 hand techniques, and then they do 1 foot technique. And with that, they get to spend a little bit of time practicing the technique in the air. They practice it on the pads. They practice it on a practice board, a rebreakable board. Then they move to the next technique. Same thing, in the air, on the pads, on the rebreakable board. Okay, next one. Then, after everybody's had time to practice those moves, we come all together. Everybody's sitting down, and we have the different staff members in different locations around the room. One person's up, they get an opportunity to break that board. Everybody gets to watch and cheer them on. Boom, they break it. Okay, then we go to the next person. Now, mind you, while this is going on, we're taking snapshots, images, pictures, as they're breaking that board. And on top of that, we live stream it to our Facebook page so that if they wanted to have grandma or grandpa that's in California or whoever, wherever, watch it, they can log in, boom, they can see their friend or family member break the board, because that's kind of a cool event. So we have each individual person gets access to the images that they broke, of the boards that they broke, and then we live stream it as well. Not to mention everybody is all together to witness and watch and cheer on their teammates, their students, their peers as they're breaking those boards, which again brings into the community aspect of that. Do you have anything to add to that one?
Yes, sir. I mean, who doesn't love to break a board? It's usually a sold out event. We can guarantee it's going to be sold out because, again, we do it once a year. And if you think about it, someone going from white belt to black belt in our program is roughly 4 years. So in the entire time that you're there from white belt to black belt, just using that as a frame of reference, you have 4 chances to do this. And so let's say you started training in January. Well, you'll almost be a whole year in before you get to the board breaking. Let's say you started training in November. Well, you're a month in, you can still come and do the board breaking event. So, it's a cool opportunity to give them a chance to break real actual boards and get their picture taken and live stream it. And like Mr. Bean said, have the community of everybody being there. And it was really cool this past year we did it because I have a separate location that I'm usually in teaching, and we have a location here, the main location, and I was able to bring students from my location to this location that they've never been to before, to meet instructors they've never met before, and be part of this event. So it was cool to be able for them to come and see what happens here. So that kind of plays into that community building kind of experience, and kind of the community building for a separate location to see that there is a bigger picture or a different area, somewhere else. And it was just really cool to have that kind of experience, bringing someone from somewhere else. So if that is kind of how you're set up, where you're not only just one school, you could either run this at each school individually, or if you're close enough in proximity, it makes sense, have the event at one school and bring people to that one place for that event and just to be a part of that. So I think our board breaking seminar is one of my favorite things to do. Not to mention it's really fast paced and high energy. The whole thing lasts like 2 hours, and we do. I mean, one whole hour of it basically is them breaking the boards. So we have time to practice and train and set everything up, and then that whole experience of breaking everything, having the live stream, having the cameras, people are cheering, people are clapping, being able to see, maybe as a white belt, here's a black belt doing this more advanced break or this harder technique, and be able to see them and kind of, experience that sense of awe of like, man, look at that black belt doing that really cool technique, breaking that board. Now, I also got to break a board with the technique too, but it gives them something else to look forward to as well. So I think there's a lot of layers involved in this seminar, and sometimes that we don't even realize how beneficial and how cool, for lack of a better word, that kind of seminar is. But, I can guarantee this is something you should probably charge for, because you got to buy the wood and you got to pay for the staff to be there, and it's a bigger event. But, it's a guaranteed sold out event once a year. Here's your one chance. Come break these boards. Like I said, who doesn't want to break a board? That's a good part or a fun part of martial arts. So, as far as the events go, I think this one's definitely at the top of the list of things that we do here at our studio.
Yeah, and on the off chance, or maybe on the standard chance that you have somebody that doesn't break the board, you set up a one-on-one lesson with them, get them to work on the technique a little bit more, tweak their whatever it is, and then give them another chance. And then as that's happening, have the person, another staff member there taking the picture, ready to go for that, so that they still get access to that. And again, the wonderful thing about that is, the community is all there. They get the picture of it. They get to have it live streamed so grandma and grandpa can watch it, or however they want that. On top of that, they get the board. That's their board. Like, oh man, this is the first board that I broke, and they can sign it and write the date or something on it. That's really a in-depth kind of process that I think really is fun. And like you said, there's definitely some layers to that build that out to be more than just, okay, let's come and break some boards. So again, if you don't do a board breaking seminar, I definitely would recommend that. And if you do them multiple times a year, and you're not having the turnout that you quite like, make it one time per year. I think we do 50 people for that, and like you said, we fill up within a week or so. It's sold out, and after those 50 people, we really can't take anymore, because that's where we're at. I mean, that's pretty well max. And like you said, it's a 2-hour event. We do an hour of working and tweaking and learning how to do the move. And then almost a whole hour of it is breaking. And the more people you have that's breaking, the longer that process takes. And so, again, something definitely to think about. Board breaking seminar, definitely at the top of the list. Yes.
And those numbers and those times are definitely flexible. You can have less people or have more time, depending on what you can staff and what you can handle. Of course, I don't know how many times we've done this. We've done it a bunch of times. So, that. Yeah, that 2-hour, that 2-hour window is something that we've refined and pretty much gotten down to a science, because we've done it so much and we want it to be as efficient as possible. So, you might do it once and only have 25 people and still take 2 hours, or, you have 50 people and you take 3 hours, whatever it is. Again, these numbers are just flexible, and it'll depend on how you run it and if you choose to run it. Like I said, we've done it a lot, and we know, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is how we do it. Here's what this person does at this time. We know it works because we've done it a lot. So, again, anything we talk about today is just the way we do it and the way that it works for us best. But, feel free to play around with it. And even if you have different modifications or changes to make, let us know, because it might benefit us as well if you end up trying these events.
So moving on to the next event is the Parents' Night Out. Parents' Night Out is kind of like a daycare almost service, where the parents get to drop the kids off. We spend between 2 and 4 hours, depending on the time of year, depending on the event, and the parents get to have a night out. And there's a couple, I would believe, key times of the year to do this. I'll talk about in just a second. But basically, for this event, you have the students, the kids come in, you have games kind of scheduled out. Okay, we're going to do this for this long, and depending on how long it is, if you do 2 hours, you just do the games, maybe you do like a water break or some snacks, and then you do some more games, then they're gone. If you do 4 hours, You do games or so for 2 hours and maybe a water break in there, kind of in between there. Then you do like you order pizza and you have a pizza party basically, in like at the halfway point or so, and then you do a little bit more of the games and stuff. Really, that's just about scheduling it and kind of playing with, we're going to do this for this long and this. And I say games. If you didn't want to do games, you could do training moves or something like that. You just have to make sure that it would work for whatever level those students are at, meaning whatever age level they're at or whatever belt level they're at, depending. So we essentially just do games for that time. And again, the time of the year I think is really key to having good turnouts for this. Around Valentine's Day, great time. Right after Thanksgiving, another great time. And I know it seems soon after that, but towards the beginning of towards the beginning of December would be another good time, just for Christmas coming up. And there might be, another time throughout the year that you would do a parents' night out. But again, you just advertise that as hey, parents, drop your kids off here. We'll spend some time with them. You guys can go have dinner, have a date night, and then come back and pick up the kids. And they had a good time. You had a good time. Okay, great. And this, again, we would do a paid event for this one. Maybe it's $20 a kid or something like that. Lots of, because of the time of year that we kind of schedule these, good turnouts. And you may have to tweak and modify the time of year that you do to work with wherever you are. But again, right after Thanksgiving, maybe again towards the beginning of December, and then around Valentine's Day are really, I think, key times that parents would be willing or accepting or want or need almost that time.
Right, and paid or unpaid, it's still a good event for you to run. To not only bring the students together, but for you to spend time with your staff. For the staff to spend time with the students together, but then it gives those parents a chance to, take a few hours off. And as Mr. Bean was saying, you can kind of play with the times. In my opinion, the longer the better. If you're framing it as a date night, well, here's 2 hours to yourself. Okay, that's great, awesome, 2 hours alone. But then you say, oh, well, here's 4 hours alone. That's even more enticing. And of course, if you're going to do a longer one and you are choosing to feed the people that show up there, you're probably going to want to charge for it. And that way, not only can you cover the cost of the staff being there, but then you cover the cost of the food, because you have to account for that as well. But again, depending on how you do it or when you do it, or if you do it, we mentioned earlier, maybe doing an event once a month. Maybe you don't do any of the other events that we're going to talk about, and you only do the night out. Still keeping that consistent. Maybe it's the third week, of every month, or the second week of every month or whatever. And just having that scheduled and consistent helps, if a parent wants to plan, okay, I know that every second Friday of the month they have an event. I'm going to pay $20, which is inconsequential. $20 for 4 hours of supervision. You can do whatever you want. That's a great price in my opinion. But anyways, they can plan for that, and they can know that, okay, hey, I'm going to call my husband, call my wife. Here's what we're going to do on this day, because I know this is going to happen. Hey, easier to make plans. And of course, you could do this at any point in time. And we didn't mention this about the board breaking seminar either, but we always do those on Friday nights. It's a Friday night. People are more likely to stay up longer and actually get things done because the weekend's coming. So, we do these parents' night out on a Friday night. They might be more likely to let their kids stay up a little bit later. So if you start your event at you start the event at 7 p.m., goes for 4 hours, that makes for a late night, but, it's Friday. They get to go out and spend a night together, and then the kids can always sleep in the next day, or, XYZ, whatever it is. So not only time of year is important for framing it, but also the time of the week or time of the month might be important to consider. You could run the event on a Tuesday or something, but I'm sure your turnout's going to be very low because people probably have school the next day, or they have other things going on. Their parents got to get to work or something. So again, we just usually tend to run these events. Well, I think most of the events we're going to talk about, we tend to run them either on Friday nights or over the weekend when we don't have anything else really going on. So you just consider those things when you are trying to plan these events out, the time and then the duration and the cost that it's going to be to you to actually run that event.
So moving on to the next one is an entire month. And this is National Martial Arts Appreciation Month. And as a martial artist, you might be surprised to hear that is a that is something. Maybe you haven't heard of that before, National Martial Arts Appreciation Month. And my answer to that as to why you haven't heard of that before is because I made that up. That's a completely made up, fabricated month-long event. And what is it? Well, National Martial Arts Appreciation Month is the month that we here choose to celebrate the martial arts. And as such, at the end of the month, so during the month, we talk it up, let the students know, hey, listen, at the end of the month, you're going to get to bring some friends to class with you to do class and train right alongside you. In fact, you even get an opportunity to teach them some of your moves. And unlike normal, let's say they're black belts. Unlike normally, if you're a black belt, your friend isn't going to start in the white belt class on that day. And in fact, on that entire week, they're going to be in your class doing your moves right with you. And so this is a free event. Again, we talk it up the whole month, talk about, martial arts and how it's beneficial and all these things that the martial arts can do and has done. And then at the end of the month, we give them an opportunity to bring a friend. Their friend registers for the event, quote unquote event, the class. They come in, they get to partake in the class just like everybody else does. In that class, we do kind of a review. If for whatever reason they don't have a friend there, they still get to work on their moves, grow and increase their skill level. If they have a friend there, then they get an opportunity to try to teach their friend some of their moves. And we select out, okay, I want you to teach them your hand techniques. Okay, great. All right. Then on the next time, okay, let's teach them your foot techniques. Let's do some self-defense or something like that. Maybe do a fun game towards the end of the class, and that's it, right? And so that's essentially a free way to generate leads. Those people are registering for your program, for your class. You get 30, 50, 100, however many people invite friends. Those are your leads. And you didn't have to pay for those leads. They just, because it's National Martial Arts Appreciation Month, they brought a friend. Okay, great. There you go. This is a kind of a fun, outside the box type of thing to do, just because it is outside the box. I mean, it's something different. I mean, I don't know how often you guys have bring a friend to class day. I mean, we have not done it until this event. And for us, I don't think I said this, but for us, we celebrate that during the month of September. So if you wanted to jump on and celebrate National Martial Arts Appreciation Month with us next year in September, you can talk it up, celebrate National Martial Arts Appreciation Month. I'm sure we can add a hashtag or develop some. Is there a hashtag? What do you do with hashtags? I don't know much about social media, so I don't.
I think you just start it.
Oh, you just start it?
People join on. I'd never started a hashtag before.
He doesn't know either. That's okay. All right. So if you wanted to do hashtag National Martial Arts Appreciation Month, maybe we do NMAAM. Is that too?
I think that's better than National Martial Arts Appreciation Month. That's a mouthful.
NMAAM. Yeah, we'll workshop that. But anyways, in September again, National Martial Arts Appreciation Month, and I'm sure you can come up with some different creative things to do during that time. Maybe you have a buddy bash. A buddy bash is an event that we're going to be talking about, in fact, next. In September, during National Martial Arts Appreciation Month, perhaps you do a buddy bash, and buddy bash would be again on a Friday night. Okay, students, hey, it's National Martial Arts Appreciation Month, so as such, we're going to do a buddy bash. For that, you get to bring a friend on a Friday night for 2 hours. We'll hang out. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna play some games. Doesn't cost anything. So you just bring a friend with you, and that's the payment. You can't come by yourself. You have to have a friend that doesn't do karate to come with you. We want to celebrate the martial arts. So as such, give you an opportunity to invite a friend to come here and do class and hang out with you during that time and during the buddy bash. Again, free. Doesn't cost anything. It's 2 hours. They get to bring a friend. Doesn't cost anything. But you, as the owner, as the operator of the school, you get the leads. And those leads, of course, you can turn into to new students, new clients that you can, again, grow and help them improve with.
The appreciation, the month of September and being a martial arts appreciation month can be to benefit you and to bring leads in and to bring you more business. But also, I would encourage you to find ways to deepen your current students' appreciation for the martial arts. So maybe, you talk a little bit about this aspect of martial arts, or if you wanted to try to do like a deep dive into some of the history of your specific style and just kind of deepen their appreciation and their love and their passion for the martial arts. And, I know we had a previous episode talking about burnout and preventing burnout. This could be used as a tool to help to prevent that, or to pull someone out of that rut or that slump by having maybe extra activities, or like I said, diving into some of the history, or trying to reignite the passion and learn more about what you're actually doing, and not just treating martial arts as your sport that you do twice a week at this time after school or whatever, but try to incorporate that more into becoming a martial artist and making it your lifestyle. Here's how I live my life because of this thing, and I live my life this way because I am this person, I am this martial artist. So yes, it's beneficial for you on a business perspective, but push even further and make it beneficial for your current students, and really try to get them bought in and fully engrossed in martial arts as a lifestyle. As I think that's beneficial for us in our training, as martial artists, not just people who do martial arts.
And, maybe you take that opportunity to, each week of the month, or depending on how it works for you, but you highlight one of your staff members, and they get to talk about how martial arts has helped improve and help them be the person they are now. And again, depending on how many staff members you have, maybe it's a couple times a week, maybe it's only one time a week, or maybe you share your story, at the beginning of the month, and then you have your clients, give you emails or somehow give you some feedback on how martial arts has helped them. And then you can use that as the owner, as the teacher, as the opportunity to remotivate yourself because of the impact that you've had on your clients, on your students. And so that would be almost a doubling down effect for the appreciation. You get to share your appreciation. They share appreciation, and then on top of that, you get to have that as a motivational factor to help you to improve and grow and to be even better than who you are now as the teacher because of the impact that you've had on your students. So next one is an extreme obstacle course. Extreme obstacle course. We normally do this on a Saturday morning. We schedule out a couple different times based on their ages. We set up an obstacle course, like a what is it? Was it ninja?
American Ninja Warrior.
Like American Ninja Warrior. Obviously not that maybe advanced or involved, but you set up an obstacle course. Okay, you got the little guys. However, what's the youngest that you offer your classes for? Have them go first. Okay, right? Maybe you have two rounds of them guys go through. Okay, you do like a race. Okay, put up the leaderboard to see who finished in the best time for that age range. Okay, then you move to the next age range of classes you have. So for us, we do like 4-year-olds, and we do 5 and 6-year-olds, and then we do 7 and up, and maybe 7 and up has a couple different classes or variations, classes, age
levels, sure.
Age ranges or levels in there, so that you can have the leaderboard and it kind of makes sense, and it's not like a 7-year-old versus a 15-year-old, because that's not quite fair. But along with that, you would have to modify your course, because the course that the 4-year-old can go through would need to be vastly different than the course that the 15-year-old could go through. That way it's entertaining, it's fun, it's exciting for them. And maybe this is, partly you do inside your school, and then maybe there's a section they got to do outside your school. Get creative with it, build it up, make it something fun. And this is a free event. And with this free event, you have your clients can come to it. You post it up on Facebook. You have, quote unquote, outsiders that can come in and do it, people that are not your current students. And again, that's an opportunity for you to generate some leads. They come in, they remember, oh yeah, hey, that was really fun. We did that obstacle course thing. Yeah, we've never done something like that before. Yeah. And that's a memorable experience for them. That's something fun. And maybe you take one Saturday out of the year, you spend, 3 or 4 hours, at your school, taking care of that. You get to have those individuals come across, they have fun. Maybe you have a donation or something, or just leave it as free. It's fun. It's a fun event. And then you have the leaderboard. Leaderboard, maybe if you do open it up to people who are not your students, you post it up on your Facebook. Okay, boom, here's the leads, the leaders of the leaderboard, and you give them, a nominal, trophy or accolades for winning or something like that. Maybe if they're not a student for you, you could say, hey, since you did the best in the score in your division, you get 1 month free training. Cool, something fun. And maybe it's not just about just doing the prize. It's about doing that kind of fun, different event, which is fun in itself. Anything for that one?
No, you pretty much covered it. It's probably one of my other favorite events on top of the board breaking one. It's just unique, and even in some of the obstacles we add in, some martial arts moves. So maybe one of the obstacles is, climb over this pad and then do 10 front kicks or whatever, or a couple punches in it. So it's not super martial arts heavy, but does, work on those skills of the athleticism and the focus and the balance and coordination. And you can throw some moves in there too. And, typically I feel like this is a more younger student heavy kind of event. You're going to have more 4-year-olds or maybe 5 or 6-year-olds come and do the event. Not that you can't cater it or adjust it for older students as well, but in my opinion, I think the younger kids tend to have more fun with it, and it, maybe even just marketing it as a 4 through 6-year-old event or whatever you have, might be one way to go about it too. But I like this event.
Yeah, and if you made it a 4 through 6-year-old type of event, your obstacles would not have to get so extreme or outlandish or something like that. You could keep it a little bit more manageable as far as that goes. Okay, so moving on to the next event, we have Nerf Wars. Nerf Wars, pretty self-explanatory. You get some Nerf guns, and as far as the Nerf Gun Selection would go, I would pick the most basic, easiest to operate Nerf gun for a couple of reasons. Number one, then you can have it for a wide range of ages, meaning it doesn't have to be, a 7 or 8-year-old that can actually operate and understand how to use it. Maybe it's even older than that would understand how to use it. You make it just the most basic Nerf gun that they have, and you buy 20 of them or something like that. On top of that, staying away from the ones that have like a clip type one, especially with like the long type darts, just because the clips tend to smash the bullets down, and once the bullets get smashed, then they get jammed. It doesn't work as good. So having just a basic, we have the rotary type one where you got to push the dart in each one of them, and then you shoot and you get 6 or so shots, and you got to reload it. That seems to be the best. We've went through a couple different variations, but that seems to be the best one, at least for us. And I think we have 20 or 25 of them or something like that. And on top of that, with the darts, eventually it seems like the gun is wearing out. Like the gun isn't shooting as good as it sometimes does. And every once in a while it has a good shot, and then it just drops down. That's not the gun, that's the dart. So swapping out the darts every couple events or something like that, I think would be key to making sure the guns work properly, because it's nothing worse than going to an event like that, you get your Nerf gun, boom, and it drops out. You can't shoot anybody because the gun isn't working. Really, it isn't even the gun. The darts are just old. And so they do have an expiration date, a number of shot, whatever, but just realize that's part of that. Now, as far as like the event goes, we have one of our rooms in our school that we put up kind of walls and dividers around, and we start, maybe there's a team of 2 on one side, there's a team of 2 on the other side, and they do what do they call it, team deathmatch or something like that, where they kind of move around the walls and they try to find the other teammates and get them. Or you maybe have some sort of a mission where there's, a VIP where they got to escort somebody through this maze of obstacles and get them to safety or to the helicopter or something. Maybe you have a object that they have to get, that's X number of feet or whatever out onto the enemy side. They got to get it and bring it back to safety on their own side to complete the mission. You can get creative, play some video games or research different combative video games that have those type of factors in there and just mimic those things. Nerf events are always fun, and I would say most of the time plan for multiple weeks of that. And so what that means is if we only offer one Friday that we do a Nerf event, and it's a 2-hour event, it's sold out within, a handful of minutes. And so then we have another one the following week, and sometimes another one even the week after that, just so that people aren't like, man, I missed out on there, I can't do it. And of course, depending on the number of guns you have, that's going to be dependent on the number of people you can have. Now, like I said, if you started with like a team deathmatch type of scenario where you have 2 people on one side, 2 people on the other side, you only need 4 guns. So you can kind of play with your different games that you play at that event to kind of dictate how many guns you actually need. Just get creative with that. Nerf events are fun. We even do Nerf birthday parties, and we'll talk about birthday parties in a little bit. But we do Nerf birthday parties, Nerf events, Nerf. It's great. It's great.
Kids go crazy over Nerf. Like, it's no exaggeration. You post it up, and it's sold out 2 days, not even. That's why we have multiple weeks for that and multiple chances for people to come and do those things. And it's funny to talk about Nerf events because there's almost no martial arts that happens during those events. So, but that's another chance for you to bring students in or non-students in and have a community building event and have some fun together and just kind of strengthen those bonds together. And
another fun thing to do with the Nerf event is to have a parents versus kids night. Again, we'll sell out almost immediately because if you have kids, you can understand how fun it would be to shoot them with Nerf guns and how fun the kids would have, or how much fun rather the kids would have trying to shoot you with Nerf guns. Huge. We didn't offer that for a while, and the parents, and it wasn't even the kids, the parents would ask, hey, are you guys going to have a parents versus kids night? Are you guys going to have a parents? So we had a parents versus kids night, and again, sold out almost immediately. Now, at that event, you might want to run that as a little bit shorter event, because as you can imagine, the parents are not wanting to be necessarily as active as the kids are. And you'll do a couple rounds, and the dads are like, okay, all right, yeah, you guys just shoot each other. I'm just I'll load the guns, or I'll watch you guys do this for a little bit. I need a breather. So have, plan accordingly for that. But again, that will be one that'll sell out like crazy fast. And maybe you have a couple of these as paid events, and you do the parents versus kids, and you make that a free one. Again, pick and choose. Once you have the guns, and maybe you do a couple of the events just to pay off the guns and the darts, and then once that's done, then you can choose to run free events or paid events, and it's not, you're paying the staff to be there, but the benefit that you're gaining from that is substantial. So maybe you just leave it as a free event after the guns are paid off, of course. Kind of a secondary to Nerf Wars is zombie Nerf Wars. As you can imagine, we do zombie Nerf Wars in October, and just like Nerf Wars, zombie Nerf Wars is a massive hit. At this, you have half the people as humans and the other half as zombies. Well, how do you tell them apart? Well, what we do is we have everybody bring a baseball cap, one with a bill on the front. And if they're a human, it's on the front side, the bill's in front. If they're a zombie, they turn their hat backwards. Super easy. Everybody can it's super easy. Everybody can bring a hat. It's very clear. Okay, you're a human, you're a zombie, done. And zombies don't have Nerf guns. Humans do have Nerf guns. And so there's another thing where you can maybe have 50 people at this event, and you have 25 guns, but you don't need all 25 guns all at the same time. And along with that, you probably wouldn't have 25 zombies, active, quote unquote, and 25 humans active all at the same time, because that's just too many. They would get overrun. So you kind of play with, okay, maybe you let 3 humans go or 5 humans go, and a zombie, 4 zombies go. Okay, and then each time a human gets turned into a zombie, a new human goes out that takes their place, and that person's a zombie, so they just stay. Okay, then you just keep going, and eventually you'll have more zombies than humans, because the humans are going to run out, and the zombies are not going to run out, because the zombies are just humans that get turned. With this event, you have a couple different scenarios. What we do is we have a scenario where a zombie plague has been spreading through the world. A scientist has been working on a cure from his laboratory, but it was overtaken by his test subjects, and now the team has turned into zombies. The military has been called in to help with the situation. A general is on site to command the locals. The rest of the military is deployed elsewhere to take care of the zombies. So it's all hands on deck. Set the human headquarters in one area of your school and have the scientist lab in another. The human headquarters is where all the ammunition is located. The lab is where the cure for the zombie plague is, and the zombies have hidden the plague. The human's mission is to infiltrate the lab, extract the cure. If they can bring it back to the human headquarters, the general can get it to the satellite, which would disperse the cure everywhere and cure the zombie plague for good. Again, that's the scenario that we run with. We set up a different area. Okay, once you get the cure is we generally just use the Nerf ammo box. They bring it back to the human headquarters. They put it in the general's hand, which is the staff member that's there. They just put it up on the shelf. Boom. Okay, right. It's on. So we got it to the satellite. Now it's dispersing. All the zombies are cured. You won. Good job, humans. Woo. If the humans get the cure, then it's finished. It's done. That round is over. Their next mission, if they can't get the cure, like if they can't get it, they can't infiltrate the lab, or they get turned into zombies before they make it back to the satellite. Their next mission is to blow up the lab that has the hugest or the largest zombie hive. In the scenario, the humans need to plant a bomb, aka again just a Nerf ammo can, at the entrance of the lab. They'll need to hold that position for 3 minutes. Again, you can pick and choose however long, but they need to hold that position for a time. Once that has been done, they can set the charge, and then the zombies are blown up, and then the zombies are at least the biggest hive of zombies is dealt with, taken care of. In the next scenario, the human's goal is to take out as many zombies as possible. They're just on a take them all out, one by one type of thing. And in the last game, you set the stage by letting them know that this war against the zombies has been fought for a long, long time. The war against the zombies has been raging for years now. Many battles have been fought and won on each side. Humans know there's no cure. If the human is infected, they have no choice but to shoot them. Before this game, you select a human to be infected. They know that they're infected, but they can't tell anybody else, because if they tell somebody, then their friends, the other humans, have to shoot them. And so they keep it to themselves. They get an opportunity, they get enough humans around them, then they start infecting the other humans, they turn into zombies. You can see how that would go. Again, I'm sure maybe you can come up with some different ways to do that. That's what we do. We run 3 or 4 different scenarios for it. It's about a 2-hour event or so. Again, that sells out like crazy. It's Nerf Wars, and on top of that, zombie Nerf Wars. We do it during the month of October. It's a great event, super fun. People talk about it almost the entire year, waiting for the next one to happen, and they know October's here. Okay, great, let's do zombie Nerf. When zombies Nerf Wars? How can I sign up? Where's it at? What's going on for it? That's one of those events that, again, almost will set the mark for the other events that you have in your school, and you want to live up to that, because the zombie Nerf Wars is so memorable, so much fun.
Yeah, I remember the first time we did it, we actually decorated the entire studio, kind of say dystopian, all kind of creepy and run down, and really set the mood for the night, and we do still set some things up now, but it wasn't quite as intense as it was the first time. But that first time it was the whole setting of the studio was spooky and scary, and really felt like you could feel the terror of the zombies in there with you, in the room with you. But regardless of what it looks like, people still pay for it and show up and talk about it for months and invite their friends and constantly ask us, when's zombie Nerf Wars? So, very popular event. Again, you're combining the Nerf, which is already popular, with zombies, which everyone, for whatever reason, better or worse, like zombies. So very popular event, yes.
And this would be another one that you very well could do for multiple weeks. Of course, you want to try to schedule it so you don't go past Halloween, because after Halloween, zombies is pretty well, I mean, they're done. They've been cured. There's no more zombies. So you want to try to schedule it maybe midway through or towards the beginning of October, so they can kind of build up the hype for that. And don't be surprised if you have, students that come to the first one and they sign up for the second one and the third one, or however many you have them, they might come to all of them because they like it so much. Even though it's the same thing, you're going to do it again. That's okay. I want to do it. It's fun. I want to do it. So just understand that, there's kind of a timeline to that one, the month of October. And if you go into November, it's not quite the same. There's not zombies really in November anymore. So just keep that in mind. Next one's birthday parties. Birthday parties, we have a couple different options for those. We do a Nerf War birthday party. We do a karate birthday party. And so we send out that information to our students. They get an opportunity to say, yeah, hey, I want to do the birthday party here. Parents like it because they come here. They don't have to really set anything up. We take care of the entertainment. We play different games, different scenarios based on whatever the theme of the party is. You might, of course, come up with some other better themes or some different themes for you and your school. Okay, great. But we play games that kind of are in the world or in the realm of whatever the theme is. And then they go and do their cake and their ice cream and their gifts and stuff like that. And we do an hour party, an hour and a half party, and a 2-hour party. And 2-hour party by far is the most used part of that. And at that 2-hour party, we use maybe an hour and a half or an hour, 15 minutes or so of activity time where they're playing the games, the different scenarios. Then they do half an hour or so of the party type stuff where they're doing the cake and the ice cream and the presents and stuff like that. These would be a paid event, depending on how you want to manage that. It's really one person, one team member can be there to run it. They do hour and a half worth of stuff for the longest time. The 2-hour time spot, they go and maybe they clean up during the time that they're doing the party stuff, kind of leave the clients alone for that. Okay, see you later. We get to clean up their mess or whatever. The parents don't have to deal with it. It's a headache-free, fun event. And again, we have multiple times where people will come here that don't even go to our school. I heard about it. They were here for their friend's party, and then they do their party here, or they come back each year to do their party here. And again, because they're coming to your school, they're going to have some sort of a waiver. Those are more leads that you get because of the birthday party. So that's another lead generator on top of it being a paid event that pays for that staff member to be here. The time associated with that, it's all taken care of. So that's another huge one. And not to mention, it's a birthday party, right? Everybody has birthday parties. Your clients will like to have an opportunity to spend time again at your school to interact and do things with your atmosphere, inside your atmosphere, because they appreciate the time, the energy, the level of quality that you bring to your school and your events.
I remember working birthday parties for a long time. Everyone always has a good time. It's a great lead generator. It's simple for parents to say, okay, I'll have to bring his cake and maybe some decorations. All right, cool. I get to sit for an hour and a half and talk with my kids' friends or my friends who brought their kids, and it gives them a chance to be a little more hands-off while you're running the events and everyone's having a good time and having fun. And, depending on how you run it and how many people you have running it and how often you run it, of course, make sure you have enough time for it. Make sure you allow time, if you do more than one party in a day, allow time in between the parties for cleanup to happen that needs to be necessary for it to be set up for the next group. You don't want to have one party come in and destroy the studio and then that other party come in right after that and come into a destroyed studio. So leave some time for a little bit of cleanup. And for the longest time we did parties. One person would run the parties on the weekend. It'd be a Saturday or whatever, and we do 4 parties or something. Well, that's exhausting. That'll burn you out really quick. So my advice is to, stick to either 2 or at tops 3. Of course, it depends on the person that's doing them. If they want to do more than that, they can do that if you have the demand for it and you have the time for it. But I just, again, be careful. You don't want to overdo it. Don't do too many of them. Now, if you have 6 parties in a day and you can fit that time schedule in, maybe have one person do 3, another person do another 3. Again, just don't overwork yourself or your staff trying to do these birthday parties. You do generate a lot of leads. It is some money coming in the door, and people coming through the door too. But it's not worth your energy if you can't get up the following week and teach, or have the desire to teach because you were here all day on Saturday or Sunday or whenever it is doing these birthday parties. So they are a very good event to have, not only for the students and for the staff and for the health of your studio, but at the same time, just don't overdo it. As with anything, just be careful and place some boundaries. You have 3 parties already, then maybe see if that 4th person can do a different day, or just tell them, hey, I'm sorry, I'm already booked for this day. You might have to bite that one party in order to have the other 3, but also, maintain a healthy balance between that work and rest for your staff.
And, with the birthday parties like that, now having my kids go to birthday parties from other people, often is a almost a hit or miss where, okay, we're going to do this for this time and they're going to do this. And there's no, it's kind of almost, I would use the word chaotic. It doesn't maybe feel chaotic sometimes, but it's a little chaotic because there's no rhyme or reason. They're just, maybe they do it at this place and okay, we're going to do this. And they're just running around doing stuff. And there's not really a structure or a game plan per se. But with this, you would have a game plan. Okay, you do this for 10 minutes, you do this for 15 minutes, you do this for half an hour, or however you want to schedule it out. But to have some sort of thing that all of the birthday party kids are doing this for this long. Okay, great. Now we're doing this for this long is in my eyes, as a person who's been on both sides of it, hugely beneficial for somebody who's been on both sides of it to know, okay, we're going to do this for this long, we do this for this long, as opposed to, okay, go run around and have fun. Okay, they run around and have fun for like half an hour. Okay, all right, I'm done, I'm ready to go home. Okay, well, we got more stuff to do. I mean, we've only just got here. It's not long enough yet. So have some sort of structure to it, I think is definitely beneficial. So next one, huge one. If you don't do this one, you're missing out. Okay, you're missing out. So listen to this one. Ready? Field trips. That's right. You get in contact with the teachers at local schools and have them bring their classes to you to do a field trip. At that field trip, you give them lots of the mental benefits, your mat chats, the things you talk about in your class, you give to those guys. You do some karate a little bit, but a lot of it is the mental aspect to that. They're active, they're moving around, okay, sit down, right? So you do maybe a 3-hour field trip. In a 3-hour field trip, you do, maybe in total an hour and a half worth of up and moving around kind of structured time. Then you do a little bit of maybe of a game right before you go, but a big part of it is, okay, we're going to talk about your mental focus. Okay, all right, we're going to talk about control. We're going to talk about discipline. Those type of things. You talk about yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Get the students to play along and do those things, and they go back to school. They're focused, they're controlled, they're disciplined. The teachers are hugely gracious for this, and we have had teachers come to us over and over and over again each year, and they like to do it in the beginning of the year because they believe, and they've told us multiple times, multiple different teachers, that helps set the tone for the students for the rest of the year, because then they can use some of the tactics and tools that you do in your classes that you're giving to the teachers and you're talking about with the students. They get to use that for the rest of their school year. So that helps to set the bar and helps to guide those students into the mindset of where your students are. And you can imagine as a school teacher, they're rambunctious, they're wild, and then you get some sort of discipline and structure under them, and then you just kind of keep that for the rest of the year. Hugely beneficial. Not to mention, you do a field trip, and that's 2 hours of your time, 3 hours, whatever, 50 people. Boom, 50 leads, 50 people that you didn't know beforehand that now you have their leads. And it's a free event, free. And what we've done is we've gotten some sponsors from our community that actually pay for the busing for this. And so it's a completely free event for the school. It's a free event for us. It doesn't cost us, it costs us time. We have to be here. But we don't have to pay for the buses. We got sponsor for that. They get free transportation here. They're not charged to come here. Their payment essentially is the waiver that they sign or fill out so that we get their information. Then that's a new lead, right? Again, all around beneficial. The teachers really, really enjoy and I think see benefit from it because they come back year after year after year, new students each time, of course, and it helps us set the tone for the rest of their year. And so one way to start that, you can give your students a flyer. Say, hey, listen, give this to your school teacher, and has the information about how they can go about registering and the different type of things that you might do. And you have to realize that the teachers are going to think, okay, they're going to come here and do kicks and punches, and they're going to be more rowdy on the other end of it. You have to assure them and show them and prove to them that that's not how that works. And of course, when the students are here, you have to let them know, listen, hey, this is not for you to go back and use in the hallway or to mess with your brother or sister, because you're going to get in trouble for that. But I'm also going to get in trouble with that because I taught you those things. So all around, you set the stage and make sure that they know that that's not acceptable. And for their time with you, you let them know about the different, again, the focus, the teamwork, the discipline, whatever your mat chats are. Share that with them. Use that as an opportunity for them to grow and be better for that entire year for that teacher. And then the teacher gets to come in and just kind of shape and mold, tweak some different things to make it fit for them. And then they get a much easier year than otherwise because of the things that you set up for those students. All right, so last one, Martial Arts Extravaganza. Martial Arts Extravaganza is a free event. We do it on a Friday night. For this event, the students get to come in, and we do this generally for just the upper students. And so we have a program where it's a leadership program. After they've been in a part of our school for about a year, they get the opportunity to enroll into the leadership program. Then once they're in that program, just those people, just those individuals get access or the opportunity to do this martial arts extravaganza. At this event, the students come in, they get to sign up. Again, it's free, doesn't cost anything. The students get to come in and spend a little bit of time with each of the instructors, and the instructors get to teach their favorite move. And of course, there's some back-end setup for this. Okay, you got to get all your instructors together. Okay, listen, figure out the move that you're going to teach. Let's not have any overlap, because I can't have you guys teaching the same thing, because that's not beneficial. So they get with each other, they talk about what they're going to do. Most of the time, well, in fact, almost every time, it's not oh man, I wanted to teach that same move too. Everybody's different. Everybody's going to have their own unique thing that they like, and they get to share that, they get to teach that. So the students get to do a cycle. Everybody starts with 5 or so people. Then after 15, 20 minutes, okay, shift. All right, okay, shift. And so through the whole night, each of the students get to spend 15, 20 minutes with each of the instructors, learning and working with that instructor on their favorite move. This is fun. It's a fun event because the instructors get to teach their favorite move, their favorite aspect of doing the martial arts. On top of this, this is a great time as the owner, as the head instructor. If you don't have a group, to go around and take pictures. Take pictures of the different teachers teaching their favorite moves as the students practice those favorite moves. Is a great time to have that. And then, of course, you can post those on socials. You can give those to the students. They get access to them. They can do whatever they want with them. But it's a fun event. It's free. Depending on how much time you wanted to give each instructor and how many instructors you have, you can kind of, that will kind of set the stage for how long you do it. It's fun. It's a fun event.
I actually didn't take part in this event last time we did it, and I wish I would have been able to be there and experience that, and just hearing about it and knowing what happened, and I can just imagine the excitement that is transferred from the instructors to the students as they're teaching their favorite move, seeing their face light up and really getting passionate about what they're doing. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but let that kind of reignite passion in your staff and your students, and also motivate them to feel that and experience the martial arts to the fullest, because, everyone's fired up and ready to do those moves. So, again, I wasn't there the last one, but I'm looking forward to the next one and being able to be a part of that. I could just imagine, like a supercharged or a really energetic type event there.
Now, with any of your events, and again, I'm sure you have some more that you might do or choose to do. Okay, great. And we didn't even talk about summer camps. Maybe we'll do we'll leave that into like the next episode where we're talking about the games, because really that's kind of game based. But summer camps and different day camps that we do, we'll talk about next week. But on any of those, to have a plan, have a guideline, have some sort of heading that you're going to do for your events. Block out time for each of the different activities that you want to do for these events. The reason this is important is for you to have a plan for all of your staff to be on the same page, and you don't have to think, okay, man, what are we going to do now? And everybody's just standing around looking at you, waiting to do the next thing because you don't know what it is. Set that out ahead of time. Have a plan of what you're going to do. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Know what's going to happen next. You don't want to be thinking up things on the fly, right? That's going to lead to doing something that's way off base or doesn't work or is a time waste. And for a lot of these events, your clients are paying to be there. So have it set up ahead of time. Now, when you have a plan, make changes to that plan, just like your lesson plan. If you teach the event, okay, man, we this didn't work so good. Okay, we go back to the drawing board for that. Or, this one we didn't spend enough time on, or this one was too long, or something like that. Whatever it is, make the tweaks, make the changes. Then the next time you go to that event, those changes are in there. Okay, you've done it. Great, good. All right, now let's do the new and improved version 2 or version 10 or 50, whatever version of that event that you're on. Fine, great, do that one. It's always better. It's always going to be different. And of course, the students, the clients that come through and do those events are going to be different. It's not always going to be the exact same people there for doing the exact same thing. A lot of it is dependent on where they are in your program. So with that, you're going to have a different kind of snapshot of what happens during that event. Use that to help to critique and improve that event plan for next time. But mark those changes and downs. And maybe after the event, you sit down with your team and say, okay, listen, how did you think that went? Are there any things we can do to improve that or change it or tweak it to make it better for next time? Listen, write those things down. Have that information intake to experience and hopefully to make that better for anybody who does that event in the future, the next year, the next time around. And I think really that's the key, is having these events, having a game plan for these events, but then have that time to talk with your team members that were there, that experienced it. Hey, listen, what do you think? What can we do to fix this? How, to make it better? Maybe fix is the wrong word. What can we do to improve this next time? Make those changes. Listen. Let them have those outside the box thinkings that you didn't have, because it's not you, it's them that's thinking about it. And then try it next time. Okay, yep, that worked. Okay, no, that didn't work. Okay, great, fine. Change it, move forward. Always advancing and improving and being better. And out of all these events, again, we had some paid events, had some free events. You can choose. You can make them all paid. You can make them all free. It's totally up to you. Totally up to you and your school. But use this as an opportunity to grow your community as a school. Use this as an opportunity for your students to realize that it's not just those 20 people they see in their class that come to you. There's 20 people that come on, all these other classes, all the other days, that there's a part of something bigger. And that environment, that atmosphere, that community building, I think really is super beneficial and helpful to grow your students.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's definitely a way to help move your studio just from a place that someone shows up twice a week to, a real community and a place that they can really experience a deep level of fun and friendship and growth. And, it's not just a sport, like I said. It helps to, I think, transition martial arts from that activity into a lifestyle. And then, hopefully, if you're listening to this and you're in the same position we are, that, martial arts can give you more than just the physical skills, but, can give you friends and can give you family and can give you, make you a whole different person. So we want to provide more ways for the martial arts to touch our students and to touch us. And this is a great way to, all these events are great ways to help offer that and, really move martial arts into that lifestyle and offer more things to our students.
And so again, if you think we missed an event, if there's a foundational event that you do and you're like, oh man, you guys didn't talk about it, you don't know about it, let us know. Let us know. Send us a message. You can do that on any of the socials, on Facebook and Reddit and Instagram and Twitter, all those things. You can find us at MA Teaching Tactics, MA, of course, for martial arts. And we're on YouTube as well. You can leave us a comment or like or subscribe on there. And you can find us anywhere podcasts are produced or made or listened to. Until next time, I'm Chris Bean.
And I'm Chris Kent.